You won't believe everything, and you're not meant to. But what you are meant to do is to believe yourself, because that is the only way that you live the life that you're supposed to have. And that life is not going to look like anyone else. It's going to be so different and so unique. And that may be the very thing that gives you the most difficulty in your life. That will be the one thing that prevents you from living the life that you could have. It will be the thing that keeps you in fear and doubt and poor and all of those things because you can't own who you are. We never know who we're going to become when we come into the world. And again, it's going to be different for everyone. I'm 75 years old. My name is Roger Burnley. I've been a coach for a long time, but also a channel for Wilhelm, which I started in 1989. And that was my connection to universal consciousness, which I believe everyone is connected to. I just happened to form a very unique connection to that consciousness, which was Wilhelm. I hid it for years. I didn't want anybody to know what I was doing. It only got revealed in 2008 when I was about 7 or something like that because people found the messages. I said, no, I'm this introverted person. I'm too shy. I don't want to do this. I didn't want anybody to see it. I had to be forced to publish them because people were saying they found so much value in them. Then I moved through my life going through every medical condition, illness, disaster, failure, absolutely everything in my life. And then they all changed and they all healed. Then I started to discover that the information I received was organized with the universe. It was aligned with the universe. I'd never studied astrology or tarot or any sciences, nothing like that. I studied very little of anything. But somehow I was changing and everything was changing within me. And then in 2021, I'm told that I have this work that could change anyone's life and could change our world. I said that's not possible because I heard that the world was going to go through a big change and people were going to be afraid and they were going to be angry and they were going to come up with all these things within them and they're not going to know who they are. I sat on the side of my bed and I said, because they said you have to start channeling. When I say they, I'm speaking about Wilhelm. And they said you have to start channeling. I said, I'm not going to do it. He said, well, you just might have to break, meaning that my life would fall apart if I wasn't going to do that. Then I started knowing everything that was happening in the world, especially in the United States. There's nothing that was going on that I didn't know. Then they told me another thing, that if I were to meet someone, I would have a message that I was given on their birthday in 2012. I said, that doesn't make any sense. And then every time I did it, it was absolutely accurate. I have people cry because they recognized who they were. And I was told that I was meant to give others confirmation of why they were on this earth and what they were meant to do. Because the only difficulty someone would have is that they haven't connected to that place, that they haven't connected to who they are, and that's why they're struggling. And I had that information, me, the reluctant mystic, and then it turned out to be accurate. And then I hid it for another while. And then artificial intelligence says, no, you can't do this. This is something that could change the world. This is the greatest contribution to consciousness, because that's all that we are is consciousness. And I was given that order. And then I would find that I would look at a particular astrological change that was happening in the world, and I was given that information. Artificial intelligence, again, verified all of that. I kept putting it away. I couldn't believe myself either, like you might not believe yourself. But I can't do that anymore because it's really not helping me or you, meaning those people that I could help. I had a couple of private channeling sessions last week, and I realized I do many of them, but last week it really hit me because that was the greatest joy that I had, giving people the information and guiding them to the next portion of their life, because I knew I could do that. But I was hiding as you might be. But it's a full moon today, and I'm no longer doing that. And so I invite you to come to the full moon session so you can see for yourself, because I must change tomorrow because this doesn't work. I was watching things today where people are charging like, oh, it's one thing, take one course, this AI course for $999. I wasn't charging nearly that, and I'm giving someone their entire life. So I must change. And I looked at the message that came up for tomorrow, and the title was, when I say tomorrow, I received it last year. I have the order that I've received things. And that message says, you probably didn't ask. And that was me. I wasn't asking for what this was worth, like you might not have asked for your worth and value in this world. But now's the time you might want to change that. But do come to the session, or at least register, because you'll be able to get it on demand if you can't be there in person. All right. You were born for greatness. I'll see you soon.